To ask Jodie and Jack. So here's Friday's confession, and if you have a tale to tell, you can send it in on an email to confessions@scalaradio.co.uk. This one has a PG certificate, I think, just only gently. So.
Ooh, interesting.
Comes from Emma. Thank you, Emma. Partner Simon, where do I begin? My confession dates back to the 1970s, when I was in my early 20s, and there were no such thing as pre-shrunk jeans. Instead, I would have to buy jeans 2 sizes too big and spend countless hours sitting in the bath waiting until they had shrunk to my size before cleaning myself up from the blue dye that you were covered in. This is the way the 70s were. This is what Charles used to do all the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
In the bath.
At least the jeans weren't full of holes like they are now.
Ooh.
That's true. You have more leg than jeans.
Yes.
Simon doesn't like my ripped jeans. He always comments on them.
I just make
like
an
the
old
mould
person's
by a
joke about them, that's all.
I upset a colleague once terribly. A colleague could come in very fashionable, heavily ripped jeans, and with my most serious face on, I said, "My dear, have you had some terrible accident on the way in? Was it a barbed wire fence?" She never spoke to me again.
I thought that was going to be a Terry Wogan reference. He always wore ripped jeans. Anyway, back to Emma's story, who's still in the bath. Emma says, I liked my jeans tight, so tight that there would be no room for movement. You looked and felt like your bottom half had been melted and then poured in. You could compare it to a jelly mould, only I wasn't so wobbly then. Now, however, you can imagine my glee when you could finally purchase pre-shrunk jeans. There was no stopping me. I lived in southeast London, and the high street at that time had a fantastic, although small shop that only sold jeans of all shapes, sizes and brands. Just jeans, though. The cubicles were tiny, with little swing-type bar doors that you could see over the top of that. It only sort of covered your middle bits and your legs. You could just about sit down, not room enough to swing a cat, however. This particular Saturday, after being paid, I was paid weekly in those days, I ventured to said shop to treat myself to another pair of jeans. The assistant was very helpful and saved me from getting dressed each time. To save me getting dressed each time, I tried on a pair that were either too tight, too small, or too baggy, and would be getting them off the rail for me. In those days, I wore tights underneath my knickers to keep them in place so I wasn't forevermore yanking up my tights. This was when the problem occurred. Having tried on my umpteenth pair of jeans, I suddenly realised I had no knickers on. I was absolutely mortified. My knickers were inside a pair of the many jeans that I'd tried on, and they were now somewhere else. I couldn't think straight. What was I to do? I couldn't run around and round in circles because the cubicle was tiny, and also I had no knickers on. I spoke to the lovely assistant that had been helping me and explained my predicament. Unfortunately, as she was returning the jeans that I had rejected back onto the shop floor, this meant that my knickers could be anywhere. The assistant spoke to the manager, who then temporarily closed the store so that a search could be made of said jeans that I'd tried on.
What shop is this? There was an assistant to help her.
How embarrassing. Everyone was searching through every pair of jeans to see if they'd discovered my missing knickers. Unfortunately, the aforementioned pants could not be found. And bearing in mind that not everyone who had been shopping in the store tried on their purchases, this meant that someone was on their way home with a nice new pair of jeans and a surprising treat inside, my David Cassidy knickers. So this is a 70s singer of great renown.
Thank you.
Yes. A lot of swooning in the 70s.
And imagine, you think, wow, look, it's come with a free gift. Yeah, it's a bonus. Simon, please can I be forgiven not only for being stupid enough to wear my knickers over my tights when going shopping for jeans, but also for the poor individual that had a lot of explaining to do when they got home as to where these unidentified pants had suddenly appeared from. Can you imagine the scene? I await with anticipation your comments and verdict. Yours embarrassingly. That's from Emma. So, the world of pre-shrunk jeans is a lost world completely, but some people will be nodding knowingly. The lengths that you had to go to, then the pre-shrunk jeans, I can't even say it, then the pre-shrunk jeans turned up and the world turned into a better place. Charles Nove.
Absolutely. Not only forgiveness, but a bonus prize from me, a special medal for achieving shop closure due to unexpected undergarments in the bagging area. This is very good.
And it's very generous of the manager to actually shut the shop whilst looking for the pants. Jodie?
Well, you obviously made a really good impression on the entire shop's staff, Emma. They obviously liked you enough to close the shop, and I think you obviously laughed about it, and it's a very good story, so I forgive you. Don't forgive you, though, for wearing knickers over your tights for such a long period. What's that about?
I don't know. Maybe that's a 70s thing too. Jack, do you ever wear knickers over your tights?
Well, I was going to say, it's not really a scenario
He's got 'em
I
on
can
now.
sympathise with. Yeah, thank goodness this is radio, eh? I can easily find forgiveness for that. I think clearly she's made friends in the right places, that the shop is on her side. So when you come into a crisis like that, they are with you every step of the way. So easily forgiven.
Easily
for me.
forgiven. And you're quite right to observe on the staffing levels in shops back in the 1970s. Imagine that. You got people just around to help you.
Somebody just
Such
to open
lovely
the doors
staff.
and
Shout out to the
and
shop,
shut the shop for
whatever
you.
shop that was.
Good trip advisor.
Bing bong, discarded underwear in aisle 3.
If you would like to comment or have been through something similar, you can text to 64100 and the first word is Scala. And if you have a confession to send, it's confessions@scalaradio.co.